Hi everybody, it's Ashley with Holistic Movements. We are going to do another quick at-home workout today. It'll be under 10 minutes. We're going to work on pigeon pose a little bit. So go ahead and come onto your mat for me. Just like we finished up last week, we're going to go into hands and knees, cat and cow series first. So let's start by breathing in and taking your cow position. Let's go up with your chest, up with your head, and up with your tailbone. And then breathe out and go into your cat, really lifting up through the waistline, widening across the back of the shoulders and dropping the head. And then again, breathing in, your tailbone lifts up, float up your lungs, your heart, your chest, like we talked about last time. And then exhale and round into that cat position, just lifting up through the belly, dropping through your head. One more time each way, into that cow position, chest lifting, tailbone lifting. And then exhale into your cat. Now from here, I'm going to have you actually go back to your cow position one more time. I'm going to tuck my toes under and I'm going to step my hands a little bit forward. And we're going to go into downward dog. We're going to just drop the head so that we're looking back towards our legs. If you remember from that first video, we're going to work on kind of softening the ankle so that it will really bend. Keep your knees soft and tip your tailbone up, lengthening your spine a little bit. It might feel nice to kind of alternate your feet, lifting one heel and pushing down the other. Eventually, though, I want you to just press both your heels down, stay and breathe here for a moment. In through your nose, out through your nose. Now let's go ahead and lower back down onto the knees. And I want you to just take your hands, bring them underneath you just a little bit closer together. Bring your knees underneath you just a little bit closer together. And I want you to start with your right leg sliding out and then lifting up about hip height. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm kind of lifting up through my middle and up through this mid back. Don't let yourself sag and hang down. Pull up through the center. And then flex your back foot so that you're kind of reaching through your heel. We're going to take the opposite hand. So I've got my right leg up. I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to lift it up beside my ear. Now, if it's too much to raise the hand, just keep the hand down and keep the leg up. That's fine. We're going to hold and breathe. In through your nose, out through your nose, keeping that middle of your back nice and lifted. And then go ahead when you're ready, drop the hand and drop the knee down. We're going to take the opposite leg back. So left leg comes up. I'm going to flex my foot. You can absolutely just stay here if this feels like it's enough. Make sure you're not sagging the belly. If you want, you can extend the opposite arm. Bring it up kind of beside the cheek, beside the ear. My thumb is up like a thumbs up sign on that lifted arm. And I'm just keeping my leg up in line with the rest of my body. Stay and breathe for maybe 2 more rounds here. And then go ahead and bring your hand down and bring your knee back down. Now, let's give the wrists a little break. Sit back, take your child's pose. Slide your hands out. Let your forehead rest down. Stay and breathe here for a few seconds. It might even feel nice to take your hands back behind you and turn your hands to face the ceiling, folding back at the wrist. Now let's slide back up to our hands and knees position again. And here's where we're going to start to work on that pigeon pose a little bit. So pigeon is a pose that a lot of us love, not my favorite to be honest, but I see a lot of people kind of getting into it and cranking on their hips and pulling on their lower back. So we're going to work on that a little bit with this first series here. Take your right leg back again, but this time tuck your toes under, put it on the floor, put the toes on the floor, almost like you're going to go into plank. And then this back left leg, which is still bent, think of how your leg is really vertical in the thigh bone. And using my back set of toes, I'm just going to push myself forward and then slide back. So it's like you're kind of gliding back and forth over top of this thigh bone of your bent knee. And that's going to kind of open the hip up a little bit at the back. Now, take that front foot, that left foot, and I'm going to pivot it inward and kind of adjust it like it would be for my pigeon pose. And I want to do that same thing. I want to kind of slide forward and slide back. Now, if pigeon pose gives you trouble or maybe your hips just won't let you get that low, this little series is a great way to get there. You're kind of opening up the hip joint in the same way. One more time here, keeping your head lifted, and then I'm going to slide back. Now from there, I'm going to take my front foot and I'm going to bring it forward. But as I lower myself down, I'm dropping that back knee and uncurling my toes. And I'm really going to try to ask my hips to stay in the alignment that they were just in. I don't want to sag down to get lower into the position. And then I'm going to back myself up and I'm going to stay on fingertips today, keeping the chest nice and high, kind of opening up from the spine. And then I want you to imagine that you're kind of lifting up through your belly. Now, it might feel good to just slightly bend the back knee and then just let it release. If that doesn't feel good on your knee or on your back, you certainly don't have to do that. Just kind of play around with it, see if it feels good. One more time. Easy little bend if you want, and then let it come back. Now I'm going to lower down onto my hands. I'm going to tuck my back set of toes under, and then I'm going to lift up and take myself back into downward dog. Holding that downward dog position, in your mind, come back to cow. Let the chest gently kind of ease towards the legs as you bend at your ankles, tip your tailbone up, and lengthen the spine. Let's drop down to hands and knees again. This time, I'm going to take my left leg. I'm going to slide it back, tucking those toes under. And this right thigh, which is really nice and vertical, I'm just going to kind of use my toes to push myself back and forth over top of it. And it doesn't feel like you're doing much, but at the back of that hip, you're kind of loosening back there a little bit. And I'm going to scoot up just a little so I'm completely on my mat. And then I want you to take this front bent knee. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. I'm going to angle it so that my foot is coming inward, my knee is turning out. That's called external rotation. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use our back toes to push us forward and push us back. And this is just opening up all the areas that your pigeon pose is kind of targeting, but in just a little bit more of a kind of gentle way and with good alignment. Now I'm going to settle back into my back heel and my back calf. And then I'm going to pick up this front leg and I'm going to bring it forward. And I'm just going to be really mindful as I drop that back knee down that I keep my hips really square. And then go ahead and lift your chest up. Hold and continue to breathe. Feel like you're lifting up through your waistline instead of dropping and sagging down. Everything is held up and suspended. Staying up on those fingertips if you can. You can even use a fist if that feels better. And then the back leg is going to just slightly bend and release. And then again, bend and release. Last time, bend and release. And then from there, I'm going to ease down onto my hands. I'm going to tuck my back set of toes under, right back into that downward dog again, pressing into the heels, dropping through the knees, and lengthening out your spine. Let's lower back down onto the knees. Let's relax our feet. Sit back into your child's pose and let your hands come back behind you. Turn your palms to face the ceiling. Try to let your shoulders even kind of roll forward and open up your back a little bit. Breathe for 3, softening your belly. Breathe for 2. And then just slowly let yourself roll all the way back up, nice and tall. And for today, we're done. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be back next week with another 10-minute segment. Have a great week. Bye.